Hello and welcome to Eagles East.
Bonsoir mes amis. C'est Pierre encore, chef de cabinet de la 18e Corps. Et voici le SITREP.
So on the 25th of January, we had 21st Division finally finding the 17th Division around Makovo. And let's look at the outcome of that. And it's certainly not looking good for the Russians. General Otto Mann's division has been smashed. The Jaegers there, as you can see, one of the battalions was dispersed and had 420 casualties, and the other one wasn't much better off. The 4th Brigade, consisting of the Bialystok and Novgorod Musketeers, also got a good hammering on the Russian right flank, so they'll be out of action. The Kaluga Dragoons were destroyed, and the Pochep Dragoons effectively are just a couple of squadrons left. One of the 9-pounder foot batteries is also destroyed, so all in all, a bad day at the office for Otto Mann. His two saving graces were that the Kursk Musketeers didn't get any casualties apart from the usual attrition, and the Minsk Musketeers were not on the battlefield. However, as a fighting force, the 17th Division are now ineffective. Quick look at 21st Division with Cul-de-sac. The Grenadiers got a bit of a hammering, certainly the 12th Battalion, but the Dragoon casualties were quite light. Unfortunately, the 8-pounder foot battery has effectively ceased to exist as well. But overall, a good victory. But that wasn't the only thing that happened on the 25th of January. As the French cavalry pushed south from Moiki, they caught up with the Russian Corps cavalry. And General Guntich has been given specific instructions to stop the French Corps cavalry moving south down that road. His corps consists of 2 regiments of dragoons with some hussars, a horse artillery battery, another brigade of dragoons, 2 regiments, and that's being reinforced from one of the other Russian divisions. And he also has 2 brigades of Cossacks, which have been reformed after the Battle of Moiki. A considerable force facing Patrice Porcine. And as we look at the French coming down the road from Moiki, it's obvious that they do not have the strength to take on the Russian cavalry here. They just have 2 brigades of cavalry, 1 of dragoons, and 1 of 2 chasseurs and 1 hussar. 4 of those 5 regiments are small in size. And that will be a Mexican standoff, if you can have such a thing in Poland. The French won't advance, and the Russians aren't too keen to push north either. But it's suspected the reason the Russian cavalry are doing this is to give a chance for Southeastern Corps to move away from the French to the northeast. And as we look at the situation for the 30th of January, it appears that the Russian Corps have managed to slip away. The rain continued for a few days, but then there was a period of fair weather, which meant that the French Corps could move forward reasonably well. But I'm afraid it wasn't all good news for Lemmerde. Crabby Git on the random events was rolled, which meant that 22nd Division got hit by dysentery and they lost 20% of their troop numbers. Also, due to overextended lines of communication, they can expect no more reinforcements. So let's do a quick catch-up on each of the divisional strengths. 21st Division are southwest of Moiki, and following the Battle of Makovo are looking rather ragged. We've just seen the Corps Cavalry in their standoff north of Pianki, and this is how they're looking at the moment. No wonder they weren't too keen to take on the Russians there. 13th Division have now made it to the aforementioned Pianki, and they have their standard attritional rate. And 22nd Division with the Corps HQ are not far behind to their west. Unfortunately, due to that dysentery outbreak, they've taken a heavy hit, or should that be heavy shit, this week. Righty-ho, that's the friendly forces done. Let's have a look at what the Russians have been up to. The last of the Russian 17th Division is based at Visna, and that's believed to be a brigade, but they're not going to pose too much of a threat there. But the rest of the Southeastern Corps looks to be moving to the northeast, doing a runner. Que ferons-nous? Option 1 has 13th and 22nd Division driving straight to the northeast, chasing after the Russian Southeastern Corps. Meanwhile, 21st Division, supported by the cavalry, will move northeast through Korovo and try and turn the flank of the Russians. This option keeps the pressure on the Russian Southeastern Corps, threatens their lines of communication, and reinforces the depleted 21st Division. However, disadvantages of that, Southeastern Corps may stand, and therefore 13 Division may find themselves in trouble. The second option has the bulk of the Corps remaining to the south and 21st Division continuing northeast on their own. This option also keeps pressure on the Southeastern Corps, threatens their lines of communication, but 21st Division is more exposed, although how many Russian forces are up to the north remains to be seen.
Et maintenant, another option. There is no option 3 apart from what you decide may be a good idea. So, if Lemmerde has a look at some of your ideas, explanations and reasons for doing what you're suggesting, then we may well go for that, and I'll make sure I give you a little shout out for that. So, what is option 3? Well, there we go, everybody. I hope people are enjoying the campaign. I certainly am. And let's look forward to see what Lemmerde and 18 Corps has up their sleeves next. Salut!